What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here in another video. And today we're going to be judging a PFF mock draft. Saw that Kenny Pickett's in the top 5, actually the top 3. So, of course, I wanted to take a look at it and see how we go from here. So, if you guys are new, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. And before you guys know it, we're going to be over with this season, which is going to be very sad. So, thank you guys for sticking with me the whole way. Let's kick off and start off this mock with the number 1 overall pick. Hopefully the gain on this is able to filter out the annoying computer noises. It's finals time. So, of course, we got a little bit of some background noise with the computer going off. But number 1, Detroit going Aiden Hutchinson. To the people who say that he is not going to be a scheme fit, fix the scheme. It hasn't worked so far. If you really don't think it's going to fit, if you don't think he's going to fit, fix the scheme. He's worth it. This guy's an absolute beast. He's a game wrecker. There's just something special about him, and he's been able to develop himself over the offseason. He's been able to develop himself during the season. There's just something very scary about a man who has finally found his perfect weight, his perfect build, and his perfect style. So just watch out for him to be a consistent big threat at edge like a Bosa. He's probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Number 2, Jacksonville going KT. So KT is just ridiculous. Obviously he's been the best player in football for his age since maybe I would say his junior or his sophomore year of high school. Even his sophomore year of high school, he was playing some tight end. So he's been absolutely dominant for at least 6 or 7 years. So cheers to him. But this team, Jacksonville, does need the help. I think going offensive line is a smarter idea. Again, I do think the value of an edge in round 2 is a lot better than a tackle in round 2. And this team desperately needs help in the offensive line. But still, solid ass pick. 3, Houston going Kenny Pickett. Now, I don't think that Kenny Pickett is much of an upgrade over Davis Mills. And looking at the talent jump right there compared to what you could do, you draft a tackle. That being said, if the 2 edges are off the board and you're going to be moving to Titus Howard at right tackle once again, this isn't a terrible pick. I would trade back. If I were trying to be Houston and getting a quarterback, I'd trade back. Kenny Pickett's not worth it. He's old, redshirt senior, has been solid for 1 year, has not been nearly as good as a guy like Joe Burrow was. Obviously, Joe Burrow was a guy who's a late coming out, and he had a crazy last year. But Pickett was someone who I liked a while ago. I had a 6th-round grade on him, I think 2.5 years ago. Now, obviously, I think he should probably be in the first. He probably is going to be the first quarterback selected because a lot of teams want to at least look like they drafted a solid quarterback rather than having to wait to see if they develop. Kenny Pickett will probably be overdrafted. Will he go in the top 3? I don't think so. Again, if you're not able to this whole entire fake sliding thing, you guys can see my Twitter for it, link in the description. I just think that it's a little bit too much of hype, and you're going to start seeing when the drills start coming out where you start seeing these quarterbacks do their thing, and you get to see how good Malik Willis is. You see how Matt Corral is outside of Ole Miss. There might be a big change up in the quarterbacks. Number 4, Jets getting Evan Neal. This is a prime target for the New York Jets. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. I love it. He fits perfectly at right tackle as well. I don't think that George Fant and I think Morgan Moses should be reasons why not to upgrade. They're great right now, but that doesn't mean they're going to be there for the future. You're building your team to play for the future. If you're not doing that, then you're going to fail as the Jets GM. So building for the future is the right move. Evan Neal is the best player left on the board. So that's where I'd go. New York going Derek Stingley next. That's where I'm going to say halt. It depends obviously on where you go round 2, but Derek Stingley to me is not by far the best corner in this class. He was ridiculous before his injuries took over, but that doesn't mean that you can ignore the fact that he did not play well after injuries. The fact is he's the man he is now, post-injury, not the man pre-injury. I 100% would take Derek Stingley if you did not have that tackle option, right? I think that the tackle option is wonderful. I obviously will go after a guy like Kyle Hamilton any day over a guy like Derek Stingley, just because I think there's so much more value to a dude who you already know. As long as you find out a scheme that makes Hamilton work, he's going to be far more dominant at locking down both sides of the field than somebody locking down one. Also, the level of talent for Kyle Hamilton is something we haven't seen in a very, very long time from safeties, like that Derwin James type of talent. Of course, I say very, very long time in reference to Derwin James, who I think is like 24. But still, you guys get what I'm talking about. It's very rare to see a talent of that level versus I don't know how much farther off a guy like Sauce Gardner is from a Derek Stingley, and that might be sacrilegious. But again, you keep pointing back to true freshman year. It's not all about true freshman year. He's had 2 years since, and injuries have riddled him both times. Not saying that he's not worth the top 5 pick. I'm just saying you're not going to, I would never choose him over a guy like Kyle Hamilton, even if cornerback is more valuable than safety. New York going Karlaftis as well as Charles Cross. Now, this is interesting because Karlaftis, I'm fine with. You get a big ass edge rusher who's very polished. He's going to be able to come in day one. And in a division where Brandon Scherf's going to be gone and Connor Williams is going to be gone, this is a guy who actually could really take a big step and take advantage of that and have a very good rookie year. His talent is undeniable. Injuries have really screwed him over. But if I'm going to be 100% honest, I'm starting to like Karlaftis towards the top. Injuries, again, they do play a big factor. Ruined his first 2 years. If we're going to talk about Derek Stingley's injuries mattering, then we have to talk about Karlaftis's. But this dude is ridiculous. You see his skills, you see his moves, they are polished to a high-end NFL level, not just like a basic NFL level. Like this is NFL elite type of pass rush moves. So big fan of Karlaftis there. I just want him to have a little bit more burst. That's just my only thing is like maybe if he drops to 270, it could work even better. But that's just nitpicking at this point. Injuries are the only thing that is a big concern. Charles Cross, I don't think I like him going over a guy like Ikem Ekwonu just because of the upside. Charles Cross is finally coming into his own body. He put on, I think, 15 pounds. He might be 305 right now, and he was 290. Very happy for him because he looks exponentially better. He was fully set up in terms of the mechanics and the footwork. You guys can, one of these times I'll pull it up for you guys. I have my initial, like looking at Charles Cross, all my initial notes. And it was mainly focused on how crap his anchor was. And again, he's a really light dude. He's excellent. Now, I would say that Charles Cross deserves to be in this area. He's a high-end left tackle. I'm going to take my chances on moving a guy who is a higher ceiling right tackle like Ikem. I'd rather move a higher ceiling guy to right tackle than take a chance on somebody who's a very high floor to right tackle. I'd rather bust out a tackle rather than have just another mediocre Nate Solder there. Just my opinion. But again, I cannot fault them for going offensive tackle. Falcons getting Kyle Hamilton, that'd be a damn dream, wouldn't it? Panthers going Matt Corral. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to talk about that. You guys know that's a great pick. I don't know how much of an upgrade Matt Corral is over Sam Darnold. I really don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Obviously I know Matt pretty well. He's a really good guy. I just don't think that if he's able to blend his ability to fit throws in a tight window like he did in 2020 with being a little more cautious, not throwing the extremely stupid passes that he's doing in 2021, he could be worth this pick. I just highly doubt that he's going to be taken just because, again, he's 205 pounds, looks 205 pounds at most, and just doesn't have the same wow factor that a guy like Malik Willis does. So not saying that Matt shouldn't be taken. It's tough to say that if you're going to go with the Carolina Panthers, you're going to go with Matt Corral. At this point, if you want to stick with Sam Darnold for one more year and develop Malik Willis behind Cam Newton, my thought process on that, just take a guy who can actually be a big difference maker. Next, we got Vikings going Travon Walker. I think this dude's going to return unless he's getting this actual hype. Of course, PFF likes to put in their dudes at the top of the draft. Again, he does need to develop more. Another reason why I thought he'd go back.
but at his size, he is unreal. Unreal. He's basically the much better version of Zachary Carter. Just think of it that way. He's just insane. I could definitely see him going to the Minnesota Vikings, a big ass dude with some crazy athleticism. That is Minnesota at their heart. I'm just gonna say Trevon Walker should not be going. New Orleans Saints going Jameson Williams. It's pretty ballsy to go with somebody to stretch the field as your number 2, but I don't mind it. I like Garrett Wilson a lot more than Jameson Williams for this team. Now, obviously, Jameson Williams has better fits elsewhere, where he's above Garrett Wilson for the team. That's why you can't say that wide receiver is definitively better than a different one. It's a different scheme. But it's just weird. It'll be good to get a guy like Jameson Winston. Hopefully, he returns. A guy like Jameson Williams to stretch the field. It's about damn time. But I'd rather get a guy like Chris Olave for that role who's able to separate a little better. Jameson Williams is still developing. He's insanely good. I mean, I'm pretty happy to say I was one of the first guys to absolutely love Jameson Williams, but still just not number 11 overall worthy, even though he is outstanding. He's outstanding. I would be willing to take him in the top 20. Just as wide receiver 1, when you need an actual dynamic player to be a wide receiver 1 or 2, I think Jameson would be much better as a wide receiver 2 that functions and performs like a wide receiver 1. You guys, it's probably confusing to say that. Think about how Juju Smith-Schuster played like a wide receiver 1 when Antonio Brown was there. Just he plays really well when he's not the number 1. That's what I mean. Eagles getting Linderbaum. I know people hated when I did this, but I think it's a brilliant idea. Linderbaum is just too damn good. And then Jordan Davis, I really don't mind that at all. Again, Fletcher Cox potentially leaving. You still have a big asshole right there. You do have Milton Williams developing. You do have Javon Hargraves, but then outside of that, what do you have? So I think that that's an excellent pick. Just, again, do you really want to go with Jordan Davis? I don't know. Broncos going Devin Lloyd. I don't mind it. I think the Broncos could be going somewhere a little bit more valuable than a linebacker at this point. But given the lack of talent in the linebacker class in terms of depth, I wouldn't mind it. Raiders going to Kobe Dean. Ooh. Now that's interesting. So Ikem Ekwonu is still on the board. That's a guy who perfectly fits with the Raiders profile. You also have Darian Kennard, another guy who could play right tackle. You have receivers like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave to replace the Henry Ruggs role. Yet they go with Nakobe Dean. That being said, I'm not against it because I know the defense has not been too bueno. Nakobe Dean is an absolutely phenomenal player. I am a huge fan of him, but I'm a little bit concerned. At the fact that they're going to be doing that over when there's really good talents on the board at positions of need. Just doesn't seem exactly like it's going to make sense. Garrett Wilson, you guys know. I always say this. It seems a lot like Odell Beckham Jr. about what he was supposed to be. That's why I see Garrett Wilson. Philadelphia Eagles, David Ojabo. He just said that he's probably going to return. So I don't even know if I'm going to include him in this week's mock draft. We'll see about that. But he is really, really good. Just again, he's kind of an afterthought to what Aiden Hutchinson is. And I don't know if he wants to come out. He's taking a risk of coming out or of staying if he wants to stay. He's taking a risk of ending up looking worse, but also he will never be looked at as a top 10 player because of the fact that he's always the Robin to Aiden Hutchinson. But he's really good. If the Eagles get him, that's an absolute steal. So cheers to him. Pittsburgh Steelers getting Sam Howell. I think it's perfectly fine. I would like to see someone maybe like Malik Willis on this team that could develop a little more, but he's super young, and I would not mind it at all. Number 19, the Dolphins getting Treylon Burks. Not bad. With the 2 linebackers taken off the board, I wouldn't mind this one either. I just think that Treylon Burks honestly might be the best one for it, but he plays primarily in the slot. That's what I don't like. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird pick. I don't know how much I like that. Washington getting Ikem Ekwonu. So I know you guys don't like when I go offensive line. I don't mind it. I really don't. Safety wise, there's no free safety worth this pick.
there's nothing that you really, what else do you need on the offensive side besides a quarterback? Well, you can get Malik Willis there. Besides that, I don't really know what to do. I really don't know what to do for you guys besides offensive line. Linebacker, again, position that's not really too valuable right there in terms of what you can get. I don't really get it. Andrew Booth to the Bengals is a good pick, and Trey McDuffie to the Chargers. I like that. Both teams are in need of an actual stable cornerback room. So adding two very nice corners right here to teams like these two that are competing every single year, that's exactly what you need. So never go wrong corner. That being said, you could look at offensive line for both of these teams, like Kenyon Green right here, but there's nothing bad about it. Kenyon Green's great, and for a team like the Bills, he could be a really good addition. Detroit getting Drake London, don't mind it at all. He's ridiculous. Again, look at that stat line. He's unbelievable. It's ridiculous how damn good this player is. I've been a huge fan of Drake London since the moment I saw him. Everybody's talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was like, who is this kid? Who's this Drake London guy? Unbelievable talent. I love him. Dallas Cowboys getting Kyrie Elam. He's fallen quite a bit on their draft board. That's fine. That's fine. He has taken kind of more of a year off. And if the Dallas Cowboys get Kyrie Elam, even though corner might not be priority one, it's best player available. And I would personally do this one as well. Kyrie Elam, he has everything that you need for it, and he's just amazing. He is really, really damn good. So I like him, but you can't discount the fact that he took the year off pretty much. Kansas City Chiefs, Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati, very underrated. I don't know why they have him down here. He's absolutely dominant. 117 yards all season. They say he hasn't faced much. We'll see. We'll see when he goes up against guys like obviously John Mechie as well as Jameson Williams. That's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see that. That's going to be very indicative of whether he's a top 10 pick or not, is how is he going to perform this next weekend, or not this next weekend, but in his official playoff debut. Baltimore Ravens getting Jaquan Brisker. I would not like to see him completely annihilate the Steelers every single week, but interesting. I would go offensive line here, 100%. I don't know why you wouldn't go offensive line. A left tackle, still a big need. I'm pretty sure offensive guards still need as well. Just, it's a big place where you should be going for offensive line to develop. I love Trevor Penning, and I think that'd be a great spot for him. Tampa Bay getting Chris Olave, like they need more receivers. I mean, I know that this is their reason why there's a lot of dudes up for contract, but they have pretty much the perfect recipe to keep everybody on their team. Tennessee Titans getting Drake Jackson. Wouldn't mind it. Just, it's okay. I would consider Trevor Penning. And Bernard Raymond going above Trevor Penning is interesting. I like Bernard Raymond. I do. I have him more of the second round dude. He's more of a second rounder. But look at this. He is just ridiculous in terms of how new he is to the position. I don't know if I'm ready to take him, though, and be able to say, hey, within 2 years, you're going to be playing it from tight end in college to left tackle in the NFL. This seems a little bit rushed for me, especially for a first round pick, because you need them to perform. He's insane, though. I really do like him. New England Patriots getting Roger McCreary. I don't mind it. I just think a safety or maybe a wide receiver is a little bit more lucrative. But again, you do see Roger McCreary playing very, very well this year. Cardinals getting DeMarvin Leal. It's not surprising that he fell so far. It's not. I had him honestly falling to the Browns. I'm writing up a report right now for PTST, and I'm writing up my own mock draft for him. And I had him fall to, I think, 16 to the Browns. And that's where it's like it's that or a receiver. If he falls to 32, I wouldn't be shocked because he just doesn't look comfortable. He really does. And I think that I like this thing that they just put in here. Similar body type to JJ Watt, and he can learn how to use it. I don't think he has a similar body type to JJ Watt, though. He looks really hefty right now. And he started out the year and played last year at a very athletic 290. I feel like he's trying to beef up to be on the interior of like more of a 4-3.
at 300 pounds, and it just doesn't look good. I hope he loses a little bit of weight and he's able to come back. And he might be a guy I honestly might say he could return to school, especially if you see him go, like, especially if you see the hype start to die out. I think DeMarvin Leal was probably one of my biggest bust favorites at the start of the year, just because he just doesn't look the same. You look at his body type right here, and that's the body type I was used to looking at. I watched him one of the last weeks, and he just looks out of shape. He looks so big and fat. I don't get it. So hopefully his coaches aren't telling him, hey, beef up and be a D tackle, because it's gotten him here from top 5 hype. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.